Hi, I'm Juan Salazar, and I'm the editor of Dataconomy.com. I'm sitting here with Kai Gansel, scientific consultant and instructor at Additive. Welcome, Kai. Thanks for being here.
Thank you.
I prepared some questions to ask you, and the first one is pretty straightforward, pretty simple. What did you present at Data Natives, and what do you think data has become, not pretty much overnight, but in a very short amount of time, so important for many areas like business, for government, for etc.
Right. So, as you all know, we live in the information age. This is what we have been told for like 20 years or a bit more now. And we made some technical advances, and what we're doing, like for the last 5 years or a bit more, we're collecting masses of data. Not only in science, also in all sorts of businesses, industry, and that's first of all a good thing. It's just that nowadays it's so easy to collect a lot of data. Everyone has a lot, and now the question becomes it becomes more and more pressing, so to say, what to do with it. And if you just keep collecting, it's even harmful because you need to invest some resources, and you should make use of it. And the point is that if you have a small amount of data, you could apply some analysis and get some results. Could be an easy thing, not necessarily, but if you scale things up to larger scale, you will, without knowing before, maybe step into completely new problems. And this is why something like data science became a tag now, and becomes more and more of an own discipline with its own problems, solutions, and people being involved. So our task is really now to make use of the data that we have. It will be more in the future, so it will become even more difficult. But we are trying now to develop tools, algorithms, ideas to deal with it and to really make some smart use of it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think it's pretty important as well. I really agree with you. Coming a little bit more to you personally. I know that you have a background as a neuroscientist and as a lab leader of sorts. How did that help you develop a passion or a strong liking for data science? And where do these two disciplines meet, neurosciences and data science?
It's funny that when people outside from the natural sciences, for example, are saying, well, we need some data scientists or we need people being expert in this and that. I always recommend, well, ask some natural scientists, maybe some neuroscientists. I would go and hire neuroscientists to work for a bank, for example, if you're really interested in doing new stuff, good stuff. People have no clue about that. Why? So because when you're dealing with these sorts of data, and like now, for example, in neuroscience, you're facing very common problems. So you are collecting data, and when you're doing basic research, you're not knowing beforehand what's in your data. That's exactly the point, that you need to explore the data. Also in the sciences, of course, technology was advancing so that it's nowadays kind of easy to have lots of data. And in neuroscience in particular, in the field that I was working in, the search, so to say, for the neural code, you just collect data and then you search for any symbols that might be in there that carry information. So this is pretty much related to anything that you do in business. When you say, well, we have some data, we know there is some information in, maybe a lot of information. We would like to know what actually. So what's the real treasure that we have? We don't know. So we are looking for, we don't know what information in our data. So we need some smart methods and algorithms to extract that information. And that was exactly my problem doing my science, so that I had some data, not knowing which symbols, patterns I was looking for. Okay. So we need to come up with some smart data mining algorithms. And now introducing this topic, data mining. Data mining is interesting because it's exactly not defining beforehand what you're looking for and trying to get it out of the data, but being open to find whatever you could find in the data without defining this beforehand. So meaning having some smart methods and algorithms that are open to anything that might be in there without
kind of
eliminating it too much before.
Kind of eliminating cognitive bias, so to speak. Not applied, but when it applies to humans, for example.
Yeah, so it's different from doing traditional statistics, because in traditional statistics you're having a precise question, and then you get a precise answer maybe. But this question might be completely beside the point. This can easily happen. Every scientist knows that. And why did I become so interested in that? Well, because I was interested in results. So I was having a real question, a real scientific question, asking, so to say, to my data. That was driving me. And doing this, I spent some years developing algorithms, programming things, thinking hard, optimizing things, to get the result. And after I had that, I noticed that it's fun doing it. So I'm enjoying developing algorithms and getting deeper and deeper in new ways.
Okay. Well, yeah, like you said, you introduced the topic. Data mining seems to be sort of a special interest field for you, or you have dealt with it a lot in your work. When you worked at Max-Planck-Institute for brain research, like you said, you were looking for the neural code, for example. You were trying to interpret the complex data. The complex, it's really complex. It's the activity patterns of neuronal circuits. That's I think as complex as I could imagine. For example, which kinds of methods come into play when you're dealing with, we're trying to find patterns in such complex data?
It's exactly these data mining methods, and these are not sharply defined.
Okay.
So this is essentially the meaning and the core of data mining, that you can start with something. So you should always start with some simple known things in a broad way. So being extremely open in the beginning, you start exploring, and then you will find some answers, some results, and then you need to narrow down things.
Okay.
And this is an iterative process, and you need to be as open as you can on each step. And it's not clear from the beginning what you need to employ, what methods you need to apply in the end. Okay. And probably, so you start with something known, but probably you need to come up with something new, some variant of something, or some further development to get to the point of your data.
Okay, yeah, that fits to your needs pretty much.
Yes, and you cannot tell beforehand. So there is no general recommendation for anyone analyzing data. Well, you have to apply this method. That's
of course.
Not possible.
No, I was referring more to that specific part of your research that you were doing. If you had a specific set of methods that you would do, that you would use constantly to get sort of results of your answers out of your data.
Yeah. So in my case, it was the problem of finding patterns, right? So and this is a very general thing. So this is also what I was talking about in my talk. So as I said, I was developing these things first for my data, but then I realized, well, it's actually generally applicable. It's a general problem for almost any sort of data. Yeah. So when you are, a very general question, data mining would be, okay, what is the dependencies and the correlations in my data? So I have many dimensions, dependencies maybe between the dimensions. How can I find out about it? And what's done so far is the simple things that are easy. Anyone can do it, like parallel correlations, compute these things. This is quickly and easily done. Going beyond that, so finding higher order correlations in the data is not that trivial. And for this, you need to develop tools, and as you know, I was using Mathematica for that. Okay.
Good that you mentioned Mathematica. What is your role at Additive? Which tools do you work with daily or day-to-day basis?
It's funny that I came to Additive as a customer. So I was a customer first at Additive. I'm using Mathematica now for 17 years.
Wow. Okay.
And for this whole time, I was, so to say, a customer of Additive, and then at some point, when I decided to leave science, I started working with Additive, mainly because of that. So because Additive represents, so to say, Wolfram in Germany, is the partner in Germany for Wolfram, and does all the support, sales, and everything connected to the Wolfram products in Germany. And so the products I'm working with on a daily basis is exactly Mathematica. Also other tools for customer relationship management, of course, and these things. But mainly Mathematica when it comes to services for customers.
Okay. Yeah. So you came to your job pretty much by being a satisfied customer. You ended up
yes.
being an advocate for the thing that you used.
Right.
Yeah, that's pretty good. I mean, that makes it very credible, I guess. You made, as you just said, you made a transition from academia to business. like after I imagine quite a long time in academia. You took the role as a consultant and also as an educator. I guess you also teach people how to use these software. Which skills and tools helped you make that transition to using science in a business sort of related way?
There are essentially two things. So first is the simple technical aspect that you're used to use some tool like Mathematica. Of course, this is necessary, and since I was experienced, this helped a lot. So this was also some requirement, and this is a straightforward thing. Yeah. The other thing is not that obvious, but it's actually also what also helped a lot is the experience in analyzing data. So the tools and ideas and skills that you develop as a natural scientist they differ a lot from people in business, and both can profit from another. So of course some things are kind of, as a natural scientist, kind of alien in business to you when you enter business. It's clearly, you can clearly feel it, but the good thing that you bring with you is the analytical skills and the so to say the strict education that you have as a scientist, and apply these skills and ideas that you have in business, because this is, I'd say, much more precise, much more to the point than people in business are normally used to do it. Yeah. So I think, so this is what you need to bring with you as a scientist when you enter business. You should make use of your analytical skills. That's the point.
Well, the last question would be, why did you decide to join Data Natives? I mean, was there anything that you looked forward to specifically?
I heard of it actually through Wolfram. So the plan was already attending last year. For some reasons it didn't work out because it was too short notice somehow. So we were planning it for this year. I'm happy to be here. I think these sorts of events and conferences are pretty important. Yes. So there are not that many yet, even so, especially in this size and this quality as it is here. Okay. I think it should be more and bigger in the future even. I think it's important to talk to one another, because so now also hearing these talks from different people coming from different fields, I clearly see that we need to talk to each other much more and learn from each other much more than we did in the past or did until now. Because there's lots of misunderstandings. So, for example, hearing some talks by business people, I always sometimes think, well, I have some great ideas how to do these things much more quickly, much more efficiently, maybe much better than they do. But then, if I go on stage and try to explain myself, I have the same problems. So I'm talking in my language, and they say, well, what's the point? I don't get it. What's the use? So it's really... I think we're missing a lot. Yeah,
there's a chasm between both worlds. Okay.
Yes. So we both sides need to learn, and we need to come together more. And really, I think we can profit a lot, much more than we did until now. And we need these events, these sorts of events, to achieve that, I think.
Yeah, that's the whole point, I guess, of Data Natives and of all these conferences, just being a meeting point for, and a forum for discussion and for collaboration. Yes. All right, thank you for taking the time, Kai.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. It was easy.